Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. In a previous video I went over shifting and how I wanted to incorporate it into a new type of offense from the Washington Commanders playbook. So I went over the gun empty base stick play where they're running lion on the backside. Alright, and the second play that I'll go over is this r.p.o counter glance post play from gun Y off trips, because I'm going to base out of this particular formation and then I'll shift to gun empty base and utilize this particular scheme to attack people online. All right, now you don't have to run this particular scheme. I like to make videos to where it's not about just one particular play that you can run. This is something that you can know how to run in later Maddens 2, 3, 4 years from now. So you can know what the glance deal is all about. You can know what counter is all about, and you can learn a little bit more about how to understand what a particular r.p.o is trying to do, right? So let's get right into it. r.p.o counter glance post. When I saw this play for the first time, I thought that this was a beautiful play, and I just couldn't wait to start running it in game. All right, so let's just go over counter. All right, counter is a pretty simple running concept. I won't go into deep detail about it. All right, but essentially it's a misdirection type run play where you'll see the running back, you see how he kind of steps one way and then he's going to run the other direction. So we're trying to get some misdirection going. And what we're going to get, this is the easiest way for me to read how it's going to be blocked up. When you know how the play is going to block up front, you run the ball so much better. There used to be a time where I didn't know how it was going to block up. I would just call counter. I would just call inside zone, call inside zone split, and just run the ball and hope for the best and look for the opening and hit the hole, right? But when I learned about running concepts and I learned who's going to block who, you just run the ball so much better because you can anticipate, you can know when to check out of a run because you can look at the front and see how it's just not going to work out right, etc., right? So counter is pretty simple. What you're going to get is you're going to get two pulling players, right? You're going to get this guy pulling, and this guy's going to pull as well. And your first one is going to go for the M-man on the line of scrimmage. And your second guy is going to go for the second level backside backer, right? So we can draw it in. Seal off this guy, and you're going to wrap around and you're going to get this guy, right? And then from there, I just fill in from the right tackle on, right? So he's going to step front side to seal him, and he has to because with this guy leaving, you can't just allow this guy to get free penetration, all right? Your center is going to step and seal this guy. And again, he has to because if he doesn't, let's say he steps backside, this guy's going to get a free walk-in tackle for a loss, right? Then you go for your backside guard. He's got to step and seal this guy, and then he's going to step in. Now, he can get a double team here, but if he can't get it, he's going to step and seal off this linebacker, right? And when you kind of drill that in, now that's not the technical way of describing counter, right? So I'll make a totally different video on running concepts, and I'll get into like the nitty gritty about it. But to me, that's just how I envision it every time I run counter, and it's easier for me to see really quickly, right? So we should see exactly what I just diagrammed up. And I love to run this play against over type fronts. Where I don't like running it is against specific fronts like under and double A gap mug type stuff, right? So I'll show you here. I'm gonna run counter here, and we get exactly what I stated earlier, and we get some nice action. All right, so you can look at it again. Pay attention to how he seals him off. He's gonna come and wrap and get that guy. Pin, 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 pin. So I like to run this play when I get a double safety look because we kind of get a soft box and you can attack the defense in so many different ways with this counter run in itself. Now, where you can get into trouble, it's good to know this, right? Where you can get into trouble with this, I had this in the marker here, is the problem with this counter type of run is you don't get a lot of double teams at the point of attack, right? So if you think about it, seal, seal, right? He's one-on-one, he's one-on-one, and with this guy inside where he can't really help on a double team, this guy's one-on-one. So where you can get into problems is where you have mammoths or really good up front defensive tackles or defensive ends, and they're one-on-one against an inferior talent, right? And then you can just get dominated with this particular run fit. So you can take a look at this right here where he just gets beat, and now we get a tackle for a loss. So that would be an example where you may not like to run the counter run, even though it's against a front you think it should be good against, because you may want to double team really good players at the point of attack, and you don't like the matchup that you'll get with your guard, center, and tackle. Another front I don't like it against is where we get more wider, a wider type of front. For whatever reason in the game of Madden, it's not really ideal. You can get some pretty quick penetration from up front. And then obviously with double A gap mugs, I don't like it because you could draw it up. I mean, you're just going to draw so many. Madden, they lock it in, so he's going to pull no matter what. And he's going to pull, and you're just going to get into and you see how jumbled up this really is. I really can't even draw it up. You just get problems, right? Look at the penetration we get here. So, you know, it's good to know stuff like this. So when you see a particular front that you don't like, this is another one I don't like, where, you know, it's almost like a 5-0 type of deal where everyone's really covered. I mean, we could draw it up right here. I mean, pull. I mean, we have a problem right here. If he goes and seals this guy has a free line inside because it's going to be really hard for him to reach this guy. However, if he stays in on this guy, well, then he has a free line to the quarterback and the run. So I forgot what happened here. Yeah, so what they do to try to, yeah, so I see exactly why that happened there. Pull, he goes. So they want him to, because he's head up, so you're just going to stay on him. But to stop him from getting free penetration, now he has to cut him. And the problem with that is now this guy has a free line. So I see what's going on here. If we're going to have someone come scot-free, I mean, it's the same with cover zero. Attacking a quarterback. You rather have whoever's going to be the free line. If someone's going to come scot-free at the quarterback and cover zero, you want it to be somebody, the person furthest away from the quarterback. And they're doing the same thing here in the running game, where, all right, if someone's going to get a free line in the backfield, we rather it be this guy and not this guy. So that's why he's going to try to cut him. He's already at a disadvantage in the block, because he has inside leverage on him. So he's forced to try to cut him. And this guy gets a free line inside. So we can watch that as you see there, right? He's free. He's trying to cut him. It's just not a good front to run counter against. Now we get away with it because we're able to get rid of the ball quickly, but still kind of murky on the play side run, right? So that's the counter side of it. And let's get into the glance route, all right? Now, tying the glance route with an RPO, what you're trying to do is you're trying to put a third level run fit defender in a conflict. And from what I've seen, the only defense where there is a third level defender who has a run fit is quarters match type coverage, right? So I'll go ahead and play it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When you're running quarters, I think I put the run fits on here, right? for runs going this way, he's involved in the fit. Can't remember what it's called, like an alley defender. Okay, but whatever it is, he has a run fit. So the idea is with this action that we have, where we're looking as if we're going to run the ball, if he decides to attack downhill, and I think I show a clip of this, we can throw that glance route right into the window that he vacates. Let's take a look at an example where we snap the ball and he attacks hard downhill. And now we have this window here to throw the glance route. That's what the glance route is all about. All right, it's all about attacking and putting a run fit, a third level run fit defender in a conflict. To me, primarily quarters coverage. Now, there's a problem with the game of Madden, guys. So you may have been excited from seeing that, where, hey, I can run, glance type RPOs against quarters, because if this guy tries to fit the run, then I can throw that glance route. Well, the problem is I was actually usering the safety there. I just usered him to show you what it should look like in some cases. But in Madden, when you run this play, he will never fit the run aggressively to where you can throw the glance route off of that. So that's kind of a bummer. This is what it will look like every time from this formation. Even though he's supposed to be a run fit type of defender here. Okay. See, this is me as a user. I just wanted to show what you could potentially get. But this is how it looks in Madden, no matter what. When you run this play, he's going to play very soft, and he's going to hang where it's not really something that you can hang your hat on throwing that post pattern. Now, you still can throw it because they play so soft, which is kind of amazing in Madden. And I think it's because in a 4x1 type of coverage, they get into spot drop zone. So my solution to that problem is, well, how about we, is what I do with this play. I reduce the split of the glance route. And that holds some benefits as well, because now, opposed to that little post being ran from the outside, now we're inside the numbers and we can kind of get to the area we want to throw this ball in quicker, right? Because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, all right? And it's an easier throw for the quarterback as opposed to him being further out. All right, and that's what I've been doing with this play. So whenever I run this play, I reduce the split of the glance route, and I've gotten big plays off of this. So even when they're running like cover 3, so this is some type of single high, because you see the safety is kind of buzzing outside. If I like this window, then I throw the glance, right? So that time I decided to stick with the counter run. But I've gotten big plays off of that glance route into like a cover 3 single high type of deal. All right, but let's get into the front side of the play. See, he was running cover 3 match. What I've noticed from this formation is when you get like cover 3 zone, cover 3 match, they hang in a double high shell pre-snap, and then they rotate post-snap. All right, so that's where, if you get a surprise when you motion them in and you snap the ball, the box looks good. So when the box looks good, and I don't pay attention to this side at all. I'll show you when I do pay attention. When I get double middle of the field open, I'm not looking at this side really at all. I'm really paying attention to whether or not I'm running the glance pattern or I'm going to run the ball. And that's if I like the front, all right? So, when I motion them in, if I snap the ball and we get that rotation, then I'll throw the glance route. If we don't, then we can stick with the counter. All right, so this is a rewind. So, I mean, you could do this for practice. How is this going to... How are they going to pick up in the run here, right? Well, seal. Get this guy. there you go. And that's exactly what happens. And we get a big gain. You know, and the benefit of the game is, I mean, we could have threw that glance route. So I'll move on, right? This is where we could have thrown it. I've noticed that the play side linebacker, you know, it's just designed in the game where they just know the glance route is being ran on the backside. This is how the game is designed for whatever reason. And because of that, you know, your safety plays a little bit soft, and your second level linebacker on this side plays a little bit soft too. And this is why this run gets really good yardage if, you know, you're running against the fronts that it's good against, right? You see how he's able to, that wraparound tight end is able to get in position to block him because he's playing so soft to play in the window of that glance route. So I've been getting really big runs off of this, running it into the right fronts. Now, where would you look for the front side? Right? Everywhere I've went over where we attack with this play is against middle of the field open defenses. When you get middle of the field closed, that's where we can look to throw front side here. And let's look at the reason why. Now, you could make it simple because the problem is, you know, a lot of people are just not comfortable with throwing stuff like that. So the reason why is because when you get middle of the field closed defenses, now they get an extra defender in the box, which is better suited to stop the run, right? So, you know, we can fill all of our gaps, right? Better suited to stop the run. So this is where, you know, this is what this play is all about. We have something to attack a lot of different looks, and then when we get into single high, well, how about we drop something on the passing strength of the formation to where if we get single high, well, now we're not going to run the ball, and we're probably not going to throw the glance route, but now we can look to throw something that we designed to attack single high on this side, right? And essentially what we're going to do is we're really just going to look at the second defender in. First of all, remember I stated when you get cover 3 match or cover 3 zone, you get a double high safety look pre-snap. I've noticed when you run cover 1 man, that's when you get a single high look. So usually when they run single high cover 1 man, this is when you'll get single high, right? So then you'll know, okay, it's probably cover 1 man. Sometimes it'll be cover 3 Mabel, all right? But essentially what we're doing is we're just going to key this defender. He will dictate which hitch we will throw. All right, so we snap the ball, and because he hangs inside and he's looking to press, then we're throwing the outside hitch. Just that simple. Now, you can only run this in a situation where at least one of these defenders are playing off. If he was playing on press and he was pressed as well, then you would have to check into something else. You can't run this play, or at least you shouldn't. Now, in real life, I'm pretty sure what they would do is if we got press, we can have an option in the play to where you can run the hitch or you can run the fade. You run the fade against press, you run the hitch against off looks. So then you can run this play no matter what, right? But in the game, they only run hitches. So this is where if this guy's rolled up in press, then we could just check out in a single high beating play, right? Snap, okay, he's hanging inside, so we're just throwing this outside hitch there. And it ties back into, because he's off, you know, he's the outer shell of the coverage, the only one who can impact that outside hitch is the second defender in. So if he hangs inside of the first hitch, then we should throw that outside hitch every time, because this guy playing off theoretically should not be able to impact that throw, right? So if that's too sketchy of a throw to throw, then, you know, that's, again, you could just check out of this play when you get single high and run something else, right? But I just love the thinking aspect of being able to attack almost anything with this play. And then when I get in the rare situation where I can't run the play no matter what, where we get press, single high, okay, press, that's when I can check into alert shock. I don't know if I went over that yet, but I will sooner or later, right? So here's an instance to where we throw the inside. Snap the ball. And now you see how he's playing more outside of this receiver. Well, now he should get position for us to throw that inside hitch every time. So I believe that is it, guys. So I guess I don't know why I have this in here. So I imagine I'm going to check into, oh, okay. So I wanted to, so, you know, I have those two plays that I've went over. I went over lion stick from empty gun base, and I went over this play. So these are two plays that I went over, and, you know, I came out in the play that I went over today. Didn't like it because this looks like some type of blitz look. So what I do, I check in the gun empty base stick, right? And this is a problem when you get into empty. It's really harder for you to disguise coverage. Now we know you are in cover 0 blitz. So these guys are coming. And he checks out, right? I can't tell you how many times what I've noticed from this shifting type of deal. When I shift from Y off trips to gun empty base, can't tell me how many times people check out of a blitz into like cover 2. They want to get into a vanilla type coverage because they don't feel comfortable blitzing an empty set for whatever reason, right? So what are we going to do with this play? We already went over this. Well, since it's double high, we are going to attack lion, and we're just going to read this defender, right? So, you know, you see how we're just building and building. I won't go over this, but we're just building and building from, you know, one play we went over lion from gun empty base. Now we got shifting involved, so now we're going to shift from Y off trips to gun empty base in a lot of different situations, and we're going to start building plays from Y off trips, and we're going to start off with RPO counter glance. I've been having a blast with this, playing online. I believe I'm 20-4 now, and 3 of my games have been disconnects. It's really discouraging, guys. I'm telling you, man, I've been playing online, and every time I get a disconnect, it just makes it to where you just don't even want to play the game anymore, right? So I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. Why does it keep doing that? Hopefully I get that fixed. All right, but I'll leave it at that. Hope you got something from this video. Hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.